फिर से कनेक्ट कर लीजिए। हाँ जी, एक बार आप देख लो, मैं ये चालू कर दूँ। एक बार आप देख लो।
हेलो हेलो
हेलो।
हेलो
गुड इवनिंग वासुदेव सर।
गुड इवनिंग गुड इवनिंग गुड इवनिंग गुड इवनिंग सर।
सर तिलकराज सर भी ज्वाइन करने वाले हैं 2 मिनट में, तो आपने प्रिपेयर कर लिया है ना उनका इंट्रोडक्शन?
कर लिया कर लिया।
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
Let us start. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tilak Raj sir has joined the meeting. So I request you, please start the session, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome to all the participants in this STC program, and welcome Professor Tilak sir in this STC program as an session chair experts. Now let us see. I am asking about some little bit about the Professor Tilak Raj. Professor Tilak Raj is a senior professor in the J.C. Bose University of Science and Technology. Professor Tilak Raj has done BSc Engineering in the first class with the honors from REC Kurukshetra in 1987 and done ME in Production Engineering from Delhi College of Engineering in 2004 and PhD in Mechanical Engineering from the Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi in 2009. He has more than 30 years experience and more than 100 papers published in international journals, essay journals, national and international conferences. And he is reviewer and editorial board member of the various journals. He has also performed his duties in J.C. Bose University of Science and Technology as controller of examination, dean of humanities, chairman of humanities, UGC coordinator for NET exam, and registrar of the J.C. Bose University of Science and Technology, Faridabad. I welcome you, sir, for in this STC program as a session chair. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vasudev. So 27 participants are there. Should I start my session now?
Students have joined, sir. I think.
Am I
students?
audible? My voice
Yes,
is
sir.
clear?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, okay. So should I wait for 5 minutes more or should I start?
So please start.
Okay. Okay. So can everybody see this screen?
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Vasudev,
Yes,
screen is
sir.
visible?
Yes, sir. Clearly, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, all the participants. So today I have to speak on CNC programming, that is part programming for CNC machining center. So we will discuss about the NC and CNC machine tools and details about the machining centers and how part programming is done for prismatic components to be machined on machining centers. So there are, you can say, different types of CNC machines like CNC turning, CNC lathe, CNC, which is also known as CNC turning center, and CNC grinding machine, CNC press tools, EDMs, etc. And one, you can say, universal type of machine is there, that is known as CNC machining center. Okay, so how part programming is done on this CNC machining center, that is the main topic of today's discussion. So one, slowly we will proceed for this, and we'll discuss the fundamentals of part programming, and then we will discuss with it with some, you can say, examples. So first of all, how you can say progress has been done to manufacture CNC machine tools. So previously, when these machine tools were not there, only conventional machine tools were there. On these conventional machine tools, operators used to machine different parts. They have to they had to set the feeds, speeds, etc., and work setting by themselves. So in doing so much work, setting the feed speeds and setting the jobs on the machine tools, they were making different errors. And not only this for one part, but whenever you can say a lot of parts, like it is lot of 50 components is to be manufactured, then all the 50 components were not guaranteed to be of same dimensions or same quality. Some, you can say, major variations were found in them. And major problem was the errors with this, you can say, machining on this conventional machine tools. So seeing these problems, you can say, NC, you can say, numerical control machine tools were developed, which are used machine tools in which you can say this magnitude, speed, feed, and magnitude of the, you can say, operating units are controlled by the alphanumeric, you can say, control commands. You can see in this, these machine tools are there. So here, these are the NC machine tools in which magnitude, speed, and direction of motion of the operating units. What are the operating units? Different slides like X-axis slide, Y-axis slide, Z-axis slide. Or not only this, you can say sometimes we have rotary, you can say, units also. So rotary motion is also controlled. So all these are known as operating units. So there you can say speed, magnitude, and direction of motion is, you can say, controlled, not only for positioning the workpiece, but sometimes for positioning the cutting tool also. Now it is okay. Are you listening?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I repeat that you can say previously parts
So
were
one
manufactured.
more request, please. Sir, one more request. Sir, please
Yes.
make slides here. Please make slides here, sir.
Now it is okay. Now
Thank you, sir.
is it okay?
Thank you,
Is
sir.
it
Thank
okay
you.
now?
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So
Done, sir.
previously
Fine.
parts were manufactured on conventional machine tools in which feed motion of the slides and setting of the job was done by the operators. So in which many errors were made by the operators. So seeing and all the components whatever made in one lot, they were not of the same quality and dimensions. Major variations were found in them. So seeing these difficulties in manufacturing good quality components, ANSI machine tools were developed, in which you can say the magnitude, speed, and direction of motion of the operating units which are participating in the machining of the workpiece or in positioning the workpiece or cutting tools. So this line is very important, that magnitude, speed, and direction of motion of the operating units. What are the operating units? Different, you can say x-axis slide, y-axis slide, z-axis slide, or sometimes rotary units are also there, in which rotary motions are given. So these are participating in machining of the workpiece or in positioning the workpiece or cutting tools. So not only workpiece is positioned, but cutting tool is also positioned. So for controlling these types of operations, information is fed in the form of alphanumerical form to the controller of the machine tool. Okay, why alphanumeric form? Because some, you can say, information may be in the form of alphabets and some information may be in the form of numerals. So that's why it is known as alphanumeric information. But you can say these LC machine tools were known as hardwired, because in which you can say major components were integrated circuits, which were, you can say, developed on the PCBs, and you can say their control was not, you can say, so flexible. For example, suppose any component was to be, suppose 50 components of same type are to be manufactured, and there is a punch tape for part programming. Then this punch tape will be fed to the NC machine tool 50 times. So this, you can see, difficulty was there, that every time punch tape was to be read by the controller of the machine tool. Okay, and integrated circuits were there for controlling the contouring motions of the slides. The circuits were there. So seeing these difficulties, you can say CNC machine tools were developed. So CNCs are the next generation after the NC machine tools, in which you can say it is an NC system where a dedicated stored program computer is used to perform some or basic numerical control functions in accordance with the control program stored in the memory of the computer. So basically, this IC or integrated circuits were replaced by PLC, programmable logic controller, and in which you can see program can be fed for controlling different motions or contouring motions, etc. And even nowadays, so progress has been done that even punch tape is not required. Okay, in the machine tool itself, in the computer, programs can be stored with the help of pen drive or some directly you can fed, and you can change these part programs anytime for any component. So much flexible these CNC machine tools are there. So basically, NC machine tools are known as hardware type, and CNC machine tools are known as software type because of their flexibility, because of changing the part program, easiness in the changing of the part programs for controlling different components. So this was the basic difference between NC and CNC. Then here some examples of CNC machine tools are shown, like CNC mills and machining center, lathe and turning
ਮੈਂ
centers,
ਉਧਰ ਚੱਲਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਏਸੀ ਛੱਡਦਾ
CNC drilling machines, CNC EDM, CNC laser cutting machines, water jet profilers. So, okay, and for controlling, you can say different part programs for controlling emotions. You can say different types of control systems are used, like Fanuc control system, General Electric system, Siemens, Numeric. Okay, so these are the systems which are in which you can say part programs are prepared and fed into the MCU machine control unit of the machine tools. So all of in different countries, different are prevalent. You can say like Fanuc control is from Japan, and maximum market is captured by this Fanuc. Okay, maximum CNC machine tools you can find in the world by Fanuc control systems. But otherwise, these are also basically all the systems are same. Sometimes you can say some you can say 20 to 15% you can say variations in their, you can say, G ports or M ports may be there. But basically, if you are conversant with any type of this, you can say, control system, then you can use any, you can say, CNC machine tool with any control with just reading the manual of that control system. Then here some basic components of the ANSYS systems are discussed, like you can say basic components are part program, machine control unit, and machine tools. So just I will read this part because I want to mainly emphasize on the part programming, that how part programming is done. So but here just for introduction, so these are the basic components of ANSYS system: part program, machine control unit, machine tools. So part program can be done through, you can say, directly by manual data input, that is known as MDI. Then CAD/CAM software can be purchased, and through that you can say part programming can be done, and PC2 and CNC machine tools. So you can prepare the part program on any PC, personal computer, and transfer it to CNC machine tool. Or otherwise, before that, manually you can say punch tape was prepared in the initial stages. Punch tape was prepared and they were fed to the tape reader of the machine tool, and this tape reader was decoding the tape, and then information was supplied to the MCU of the machine tool. What is MCU? MCU has many sub-components like tape reader, buffer storage, feeding channels, gauging device, feedback transducer, sequence control, and control panel. Tape reader is used for reading the tape and decoding the information from the tape. Buffer storage stores the part program in logical blocks and transfers this information to the other part of the controller unit. So if buffer storage is not there, then tape reader should be very fast. It should read the, you can say, tape and decode it very fast so that the information can be sent to the controller unit very fastly. Otherwise, there will be pause in the operating units, and these pause will be observed in the form of dents on the parts. So that's why for preventing any, you can say, pause in the supply of the information from tape reader to other control units, this buffer storage is there, which you can say manages the, you can say, transfer of data from tape reader to, you can say, control unit. And feeding channels are there. So from buffer storage, the information in the form of electrical signals is fed by feeding channels to the servo motors. The servo motors operate different slides. So these slides can be moved, you can say, in the plus direction or in minus direction. So how much, suppose you want to give, you want to move the x-axis slide in x50, let us say x50 command you want to give. Then it means that x-axis slide should move 50 millimeter in positive x direction. So whether it is when your command will go to a servo motor, then it will servo motor will rotate and it will move the, you can say table in x direction by 50 millimeter. So whether it has moved 50 millimeter or not, for measuring this gauging
Excuse me,
devices
sir.
are there. Yes.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, your
Yes. Yes.
slide is still on the slide number 4 only.
But I'm reading slide number 8.
Yes, sir. Your slide is not moving here, sir.
Why it is not moving?
Sir, please try again a screen share. Do a screen share again. Yeah, now it is on 8, sir.
Now it is visible. So you please, if it is visible, then you can. So should I move to slideshow?
Yes, sir. Please move on slides, yes, sir.
Now it is clear. Can you see slide number 8?
So slides number 8 is seen here, but slide share is not done 8, sir. So first of all, sir, at the top you should click on enable editing.
Enable editing.
Yeah.
The new share is there. Participants are security. Annotate, remote control.
No सर उसमें उस पे नहीं सर enable editing protected view लिखा हुआ था ना सर लेफ्ट टॉप कॉर्नर पे लेफ्ट टॉप कॉर्नर ब्लू आइकन है सर प्रोटेक्टेड व्यू एनेबल एडिटिंग कर दीजिए इसको
हाँ हाँ अच्छा
अब सर स्लाइड शेयर कर दीजिए स्लाइड शेयर कर दीजिए नीचे से सर बॉटम राइट सर बॉटम राइट स्लाइड शेयर कर दीजिए 76% से जो पहले आइकन आ रहा था सर, जहाँ 76% लिखा हुआ, हाँ इस पे, हाँ
अब
हाँ
ठीक
सर,
है।
नाउ इट इज फाइन, फाइन सर, फाइन। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Okay. So we were on the gauging device. So gauging device measures the actual movement of the slides, and they see whether the command has been obeyed by the servo motor or not. Okay. Feedback transducer. So these you can say the transducers, they give the feedback to the controller unit that you can say whatever command has been supplied to the servo motor that has been activated or not. And then sequence controls are there. So they manage the sequences of all the parts. Like tape reader decodes the tape, then buffer storage stores the information, supplies to the controller unit, then feeding channels do their work, gauging devices, and feedback transducer supply the feedback to the controller unit. So all this you can see is done in the sequential manner, and it is done with the help of sequence controls. And next component is control panel. So control panel, I show you. This is the control panel of the machine tool. So lower part is known as operator control panel, and upper part is known as machine control panel. Okay, so machine control panel, in which you can say you can do the part programming. Directly you can insert the part program through this keyboard. This keyboard is there, and this is CRT, cathode ray tube. So you can insert the part program, and you can see, you can say blockwise, the part program will appear on the screen, and any editing if you want, you can do it. And here these are the parts for controlling the machine tool by the operator. So this is emergency stop. So anytime any accident is likely to occur, then you can press this button. This is known as emergency stop. And then here you can say this jogging wheel is there. With the help of that, manually you can move the slides, x-axis slide, y-axis slide, z-axis slide in any plus and minus direction. So that is known as manual jogging. So with the help of this wheel, you can do this manual jogging. Then different speed override, feed override buttons are there. You can say coolant control buttons are there. They can be on, off, etc. So operator can do different operations with the help of these buttons on the CNC machine tool. And this part is known as operator control panel, and this is known as machine control panel. Then third part is machine tool. Okay. So machine tool has different, you can say operating units. Operating units, as I told previously also, that different slides are there, like x-axis slide, y-axis slide, z-axis slide. Okay, so not only slides, but other operating units are also there, like you can say a tool magazine is there, ATC is there, auto tool changer, which is known as auto tool changer, for changing the tools automatically from the magazine and putting it into the spindle of the machine tool. Okay, so these are the operating units. Then cutting tools, different types of cutting tools like drill, reamer, boring bars, face mill cutter, and mill cutter. These are used. And then work fixtures. So these are the fixtures which are used for holding the workpiece over the machine tool. So different flexible type of work fixtures are also used on the CNC machine tools. So this is just briefly about this basic components of the CNC machine tools. So here you can see machining center with vertical spindle. So here one view is shown. Here this is the tool magazine. You can see here different tools are hanging on this magazine. Like you can say anvil cutter is there, drill may be there. Different cutting tools can be put in this magazine, and one by one each can be put into the spindle. This is a spindle. Okay, so spindle position is vertical with respect to this bed, so that's why it is known as machining center with vertical spindle, or VMC, vertical machining center. Another version is horizontal machining center. So machining center with horizontal spindle. So here you can see this spindle is horizontal. Okay. So that's why you can say this is known as horizontal machining center or machining center with horizontal spindle. So these two types are mainly used. But otherwise, any third type is also there, which is known as UMC, Universal Machining Center, in which you can say spindle can be oriented in vertical position and in horizontal position as per requirement, or in any inclined position also. So you can change the position of the spindle, vertical, horizontal, or any, you want to put it on 60 degrees, sometime hole is required. So that can also be done. So that's why that is known as Universal Machining Center. So here one view, another view is shown. So here you can see this is a tool magazine for, these are different cables are put in this part for moving, you can say, tool magazine. So this tool changer is there, head tool changer is there for changing the tool from magazine to the spindle. Then this is work table is there, this is spindle is there, this is the column. Here you can see this is the control panel. So this different parts are shown here. And this is the tool magazine. Okay, so here this is vertical type of tool magazine. You can see here a number of parts. So a small tool magazine can be there, round type, in which 8 or 10 tools can be mounted. Sometimes you can say we can mount 90 tools, 120 tools also. So whenever your 60 tools also, whenever large number of tools are to be mounted, then this large magazine is used. So here you can see these are the tools which are mounted on the tool magazine. So these are different pods. This is known as tool pod. So this is one tool pod, this is another tool pod, and side by side you can see this number will be there. So it can, if 60 tools are there, then it will number will be 1 to 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. You can see this marking will be there for each tool, so that you are putting any tool in any pod. So that tool is known, if you are putting the tool in pod number 1, then it will be known as tool number 1. So you will use T01 for that in the path programming. If you are putting a tool into port number 5, then you will use T05 for that tool for programming this tool in the part programming. So in this way, these tool numbers are given for their identification in the part programming, and there should not be any mistake. Suppose in part programming you are using an Intel of 10 dia and you have given the tool number T06. So you should take care that this tool is in port number 6. Otherwise, mistake will be there. Okay. So here this magazine is rotatable type. So here one you can see position will be there. You can see here very carefully that this ATC arm is there. This finger is coming. So in each magazine there is tool change position. So if your tool number T01 you have given in the part program and you want to change it, okay, like T01 M06. So that one is for changing the tool number 1 for you want to put it in the spindle. So but this tool number is T01 is here. So when this command comes, it is executed and this code will come slowly here. So this is the tool change position in the tool magazine. Okay. So when this tool will come here, so in the back of that one you can see spindle will be there, which will hydraulically operated, and it will give a push to this tool. Okay. When it will give, when this ATC will come, it will grip it. When it will grip, signal will go that it has been gripped by the ATC. So this signal will go to the control unit. Control unit will supply the information to the solenoid at the back of that, and it will operate the spindle. It will give push to this, and this tool will come out. Okay. Then this ATC will rotate and put it into the tool spindle. So this is the tool change position. So whenever any tool is to be changed, so every tool has to come over this position. If you want tool number 10 to be changed, and tool number 10 is somewhere here, so magazine will rotate and it will come here. So from this position only tool can be changed. Okay, so this is the working of ATC, auto tool changer arm, and tool magazine. So in this way, automatically tools are changed from magazine, and whenever work is over, then again the same thing will be there. ATC arm will come and it will put the tool in the same pod. It had picked up the tool from tool number 1, pod number 1. So after working, it will put the back, you can say, tool in the same pod. Okay, so in this way, automatically our work is controlled. Then these are the tool holders and cutting tools of the CNC machine tools. So specific shape is given. So this is the tool holder. So this tool holder is a special taper is there. So it can be, you can say, ISO taper, or it can be BT. BT means British taper. Okay, so British taper. So according to that standards, these tapers are prepared, and the same taper will be there in the tool magazine pod and in the tool spindle also. Okay, and here the tool changer grip area is there. So here the tool changer arm will grip this tool holder, and in this position you can put the tool. Here you can see this is the actual tool. So this is a cutting tool, this is a holder. So you can mount the cutting tool in that, you can tighten it with this rub screw, and then you can put this tool into the magazine or in the spindle. And here this is known as retention knob. So retention knob, and this portion is known as pull stud. Okay. So this is threading is done. So with the help of threaded, the stud will be there. So with the help of threaded portion, it will go into this holder. So this retention knob is there for, you can say, getting a kick from the spindle whenever you can say some tool change is to be done from the spindle or from the tool magazine. So this is tape reader. So previously punch tapes were used in the CNC machine tools for loading the part programs. So for this, you can say this tape reader was used. So here two wheels are there. So on one wheel you can mount the tape, and then this is the reading head. So from here you can bring the tape to this, you can say, second wheel. So slowly this wheel rotate, and when they are rotating, this tape is moving forward. And here you can say mechanical system, electrical system, or optical system reading heads are there. So generally nowadays opticals, latest position, optical reading heads were there. In opticals reading head, what is the principle? Light is passed through the punch tape, and wherever holes are there, from that the light will pass, and here on the bottom portion sensor will be there. Okay, so wherever you are getting the light, according to that, you can say it means holes are there, position of the hole is noted down by the tape reader, and then the tape is recorded. Okay, so after reading full tape, it will be from here, it will undown and it is winding here. Okay, so it will come here ultimately. So this is the work of the tape reader. And this is control panel already discussed. Then NC machining procedure. Okay, so before we go to the part programming, we should know that what is the machining procedure on CNC machine tools or NC machine tools. So different steps are there. First is that part drawing study. So first step is that carefully study the part drawing. In that, see that what type of operations are required on the component, whether it drilling holes are required, or you can say some milling work is required, or you can say it is for machining center or for turning center, what type of machine is to be used. Okay, so first of all study the part drawing and then note down the different operations. So if holes are required, then what is the size of the hole, what is the accuracy required, whether it will be, you can say, accurate and precision holes are there, or general holes are there. Like suppose if I write dia 20 hole, then it means general tolerance holes. But if I write in dia 20 S7 hole, it means S7 tolerance is required on the hole, and reamer will be used for that, and good quality hole should be produced. Then process planning. So as per the operations required, this process planning is done. That what operation should be done first, what should be the second operation, what should be the third operation, like that. So process total, you can say process planning sheet is prepared. Then third step is tool setting. So according to process planning, tools are set. Tools are two types: cutting tool and work fixtures. Okay, cutting tools are used for cutting the workpiece, like you can say what type of drill will be used, what type of reamer will be used, what type of boring bar is used, what should be the size of these tools, what should be the materials of these tools. And not only you can say this tool selection, but their setting is also done. In tool setting, tool length is measured. Okay, why tool length is measured? That from the holder, how much tool is projecting outside. Okay, what is the length of the tool? Because different tools will be there and their length may be different. So their length is compensated while working over the workpiece. Okay, that's why these, you can say, their length is noted. So not only you have to select the tool, but you have to put it into the tool holder. You have to measure its heights. You have to measure its diameter, and then these, you can say, height or length of the tool will be used for setting the tool length offsets in CNC machine tools. So what is tool length offset? I will tell you in the coming slides. Next is work fixture setting. That what type of fixture is required, how the work will be held in that. So you have to select that work fixture, and you have to mount this work fixture over the machine table. Okay, so the setting means, work fixture setting means it should be aligned with x-axis of the machine tool and y-axis of the machine tool. Okay, so it should, both the axes of the work fixture should be parallel to both the axes of the machine table, x and y. and Z-axis on the top surface of the work section. Then part programming. After that, part programming is done. Part program is prepared for the component with the help of different preparatory codes and miscellaneous codes. Preparatory codes means G codes and M codes. Okay, so with the help of these G codes and M codes, part program is prepared. So after preparing the part program, punch tape is previously this tape was used, so people used to prepare this tape. Okay, so the program was written on the computer, and then one tape punching machine was interfaced with the computer, and accordingly that tape was, you can say, punched, and then this tape was put into the tape reader, and it was decoded by the tape reader, and instructions were set to the MCU of the machine tool. But nowadays, this part program can be done, and it can be put on the pen drive, or directly you can transfer it to the CNC machine tool through the help of wires, or even you can say with net also this can be transferred. Then testing and proving of the part program. So this is very important that you have prepared the part program, so you have to test it whether the part program is okay or not, or some errors are there. So whatever errors are there, they are to be removed before the actual start of the production, because production will start when when part program is, you can say, 100% okay. If any error is there, then this error will be, you can say, observed in the machining of the components, and components can be rejected due to small error in the part program. Sometimes some accidents may also occur during, you can say, machining, if, you can say, these errors are not removed. Okay, so after testing and proving of the part program, when it is found okay, that after removing the errors, you can say actual NC machining is started. Now, fundamentals of the part program. So first of all, we should know what is a part program. So part program, it is a set of instructions in the form of alpha numerals to be followed by the operating members of the NC machine tools for machining a particular component. So these are the set of instructions. So in simple words, it is a set of instructions in the form of alphanumeric form. Okay, in the form of alphabets and numerals. So these instructions are to be sent to the MCU machine control unit of the CNC machine tool for controlling different operating members of the machine tool. Okay, so this is known as part program, a set of instructions. So what should be the desired qualities of the part program? Just for, you can say, your sake, he should have some understanding of the part drawing, that whenever, you can say, part program is to be prepared, so one should be able to read the part drawing, that what is needed in the part, what type of operations are needed. So what is the material of the component, what type of operations are there, whether it is soft or whether it is hard, what type of cutting tool materials will be needed, whether HSS will do, or whether the cutting tool should be of carbide or ceramics, etc. Because once one is able to study the part drawing, then only he can, you can say, have some further, you can say, discussions about the operations to be done on the part. Okay, then he should have some knowledge of the mathematics also. So in preparing the part program, sometimes, you can say, in manual part programming, sometimes, you can say, small, you can say, trigonometric knowledge is needed, because, you can say, suppose some holes are to be done on the circumference of a hole. Okay, so you may be given diameter or radius of the hole and number of holes and position of number of holes. Then you should be able to calculate the coordinates of all these holes. So coordinate calculation is very important. Part programming is very easy, but main difficulty comes for the part programmer in calculating the coordinates of the punch of machining, because sometimes some curve may be there, sometimes some, you can say, curve and line may be mixed. So it can be linear, curvilinear mixture of the operations. Suppose any profile you want to cut a cam profile, in which, you can say, sometimes two curves are mixed together. Okay, so in that you have to calculate the coordinates of the point of machining. So once the coordinates are calculated, then part program is not very difficult. With just a practice of one or two components, one can become expert of this part programming. There is no problem. But this mathematical knowledge, trigonometric knowledge, is very essential for complex job profiles. Then different machining methods. We should have knowledge about the different machining operations, that what is the difference between drilling, reaming, what is needed for drilling, what is needed for reaming, what is boring, etc., countersinking, etc. So these, you can say, this machining operation knowledge is also necessary. Then process planning. So he should be able to do the process planning, that which operation should be done first, which should be done second, which should be done after that. If process planning is not proper, then there may be sometime you can say backtracking of the components. Some operation may be needed in the second stage, but you move to the eighth stage of operation. Then you will have to come back. Okay, if process planning is not done properly. So process planning is very essential, and proper sequence all process should be planned. Then he should have knowledge about the cutting tools, fixtures, etc. What are the cutting tools? What type of different cutting tools are there? What are the different materials available for them? What is the quality, or you can say mm, quality and good practices of these materials, etc. Their advantages, disadvantages. Okay, their you can say properties should be known to the programmer. Then only effective cutting tool selection can be done, and effectively fixture should be selected. Okay, fixture should be for CNC machine. It should be like that. It should not be, you can say, customized type, but it should be flexible type. We should be able to machine, you can say, 4 or 5 type of components in a single fixture. So if a general type of fixture should be designed, if there is, you can say, some permissibility. If you can say again component is very rigid and very typical profile is there, then there is no choice for customized fixtures. So one should have good knowledge of the fixtures and how they can be made flexible. It should also be known to the part programmer. Then you should have good knowledge about the CNC machine on which the part programming is to be done, and their features. That what type of, you can say, RPMs can be given, what type of maximum speed can be given. Okay, what type of forces will be developed during cutting, whether the machine tool is rigid or not. So he should have basic knowledge of the machine, of the existing CNC machine. What are the features and drawbacks of the CNC machine on which the machining is to be done. Then CNC part programming fundamentals. He should have good knowledge about the CNC part programming fundamentals. Then only good part program can be prepared. So these are the some qualities which are needed in a CNC part programmer. Then standards of functions of the part programming. So there are two, you can say, types of standards. One is EIA part programming system, another is ISO based. EIA means Electronic Industry Association system, and another is International Standardization Organization. So here we will discuss all this, you can say, whatever course, etc. we will discuss, that will are based on EIA RS-244A type system. So now we start the fundamentals of the part programming. So first is, now everything is clear to all of you. Please give your response, whether I am slow or fast, or whether it is okay. Hello, are you listening? Hello everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Doing well, sir. Fine.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Thank you. So part program composition. So part program has two main components: main part program and subprogram. Okay. So main part program, you can see here different block of information will be there in that. Okay. So block of information 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, etc. Then sometimes you can use subprogram also. Whenever it's for some repetitive type of work is there. Let us say, for example, you have to machine a rectangular profile of a rectangular component, and height of the thickness of the job is, let us say, 15 millimeter. Then you cannot take a 15 millimeter cut directly in one go. You will have to take 5 millimeter depth in one go, then 5 more, 5. So 3 cuts you will have to take. So in such cases, you don't need to repeat the, you can say, 3 times this, you can say, part program. Just you can prepare the, you can say, sub program for this profile, and you can repeat it with the help of, you can say, sub program 3 times. Okay, so in that what will happen? You can link the sub program with the main program. So in the main program, whenever you will call sub program, the information will shift to the sub program, and it will follow the instructions of the sub program. And after completing the sub program instructions, then again in the end it will return to the next block of information in the main program. Sometimes this block can also be skipped. If you specify some another, you can say next, let us say this block, this information block of information is at number n 100, but you don't want to use this 100 and 110. You directly want to go to 120. Then here you can give m 99p 120. So directly the program will shift to the sequence number 120. Okay. Or otherwise, if you don't specify, then from at the end of the subprogram, you will return back to the next block of information in the main program. Okay. So these are the two types of programs: main program and subprogram. And then this main program or subprograms, they are made of block of information. You can see here, these are the block of information. So different block of informations are there. And these block of informations contain different words. Like let us say, if I say T01 M06, this is for changing the tool number 1. So tool number 1 M06. M06 is for tool change. So two words will be there. Okay, T01 is one word, M06 is another word. Okay, then this word is made of address and number. So address T is one address, T01, 01 is number. Similarly, M is, you can say, address, and 01, M0606 is number, numeral. Okay, so with the help of this address, the lowest, you can say, members are addresses and numbers, and from them you form words, and this different words form block of information, and these block of information form main program and subprogram, and then this becomes part program. So this will be the sequence. So here some addresses are used in the CNC machinery center. So basically we are discussing the codes of FANUC system. Okay, so I have taken these codes from FANUC system, but as I told earlier that if you are conversant with any system, then you can prepare part program in any controller unit like General Electric, any Siemens, any control system you can handle. But basics should be clear. So in this, you can say one thing is that ISO address and their meaning. So ISO can be used for part program. So first of all, you have to give the part program number. Like whenever we are preparing any part program, you will have to identify. This is the ID of the part program. So ID is given with the help of ISO or O in capital O in EIA coding system. Okay, so if I use O, then if I use O1000, so 1000 will be the number of that part program, and O will identify that it is in EIA system. Then sequence number. So any block of information is addressed by capital N. With that, some number is given. Then preparatory functions are there, like you can say G code is there. Okay, that is means preparatory function is there. So different linear and arc curvilinear motions, we use different G codes. Then we use some addresses X, Y, Z. So these are all dimension words. So X, Y, Z are coordinate axis motion commands. ABC are used for additional axis motion command. Okay. ABC for these are basically additional axis means rotational axis. So if you want to rotation axis about the X axis, then for that A will be used. If rotation is about Y axis, then B symbol is used. If rotation is around Z axis, then C is used. So these are additional, or you can say rotational axis motion commands. So basically CNC machining center can be of 3 axis type, X, Y, Z. But it can be 6 axis also if you are having these 3 rotational axis also, facilities also. Then R is used for arc radius. Whenever some arc is there, then arc radius is defined with the help of capital R. And then IJK. So these are coordinate values of the arc center. So for defining the you can say arc, these are some, you can say IJK addresses are also used. So you can use R with that. You can give the circular command with R, or you can use with the help of IJK. Okay. So in the coming slides, we'll see that what is there, how they are used in different scenario. And next is F. F is used for, capital F is used for feed rate, feed function. It is a feed function, and it is used for defining feed rate. And then spindle speed is defined with the help of capital S. This is a spindle speed function. And tool number is defined with the help of capital T. So these are very necessary, because with the help of that, these you can say addresses, only one can prepare a good part program. Then miscellaneous functions, M is used, like you can say on of control of the machine tool or tool chain, like M01 may be there, M06 may be there, M07, 8. These are different miscellaneous functions which are used for controlling the machine tool. And then B, this is used for indexing of the table, rotary table. So basically, whenever some, you can say, pallet is used in a horizontal machining center, or some rotary table is used in vertical machining center, in that ABCs are used. But whenever you can say some pallet is there in horizontal machining center, then this indexing of the table is done with the help of capital B. Then offset numbers can be defined with the help of capital H or capital D. So two length offset is defined. Length offset is defined by capital H, and radius offset or radius, you can say, compensation is defined by capital D. How they are used in the coming slides we will see. Then dwell. Anytime you want to stop a machine tool for a particular time, then this it can be dwelled. So x and some time can be defined. So x5 means for 5 seconds you can stop the machine in a particular position. Then capital P is used for subprogram designation. So main program designation is capital O, as we have seen in the previous slide, and subprogram designation is capital P. Okay, and capital L is used for repetitive count. Anytime you want to repeat any, you can say, function, then capital L can be used. Then some basic terms in part programming, like you can say word, as I told you, that x, any value of with x minus 100, this is one word, t01 is another word, g01 is another word. Then input format. So input format is given in this, you can say, format. Like first of all sequence number, then G code, then axis command, then Y axis command, then Y axis motion, then feed rate, okay, then spindle speed, tool number, and then you can say some, you can say, miscellaneous function. So they made this ST may not be used in the same, you can say, block of information. They will be used separately. But this is one, you can say, giving the format for giving any input for any block of information. Then program number, as I told you, that it is in EIA, it is done with the help of capital O. So any 4-digit number from 1 to 9,999 can be used for giving the identification to any program number. So I1000 means I1000 will is the program number. O1000 will be the 1000 is the program number for any particular program. Here example is shown O1199. So in this way you can define, you can give the program number. Okay, this is for end of the program. Then sequence number. Sequence number is, as I told you, that is with capital N, and again it is a 4-digit number. So 1 to 9,999 can be given. So N100 or N110. So in this way, this is one word, this is one command. So for this command, this is the sequence number. For this command, this is the sequence number. Then there is absolute and incremental type of programming. So in the coming slides, we will see what is the difference between them. Then feed rate, it can be given in millimeter per minute, or it can be given in millimeter per revolution. Okay, so millimeter per minute is also equal to millimeter per revolution into RPMs. Okay, it is equal to FPT, where FPT is the feed per tooth. In face mill cutter, generally this type is used, feed per tooth, and this is the number of milling teeth, etc. Okay. Otherwise, you can use, you can say, millimeter per minute. So whatever you can say millimeter per revolution, you know, multiply it with RPM, and you will get the millimeter per minute. So here the difference between absolute coordinate system and incremental coordinate system is shown. So in absolute coordinate system, absolute values of the coordinates of the point of machining are given. So let us say any point of machining is C. Okay, so its coordinate will be 1 in x-axis and 3 in y-axis, 1, 3. So this minus 2, 2. Okay, and for this minus 3.75, 0.5. So in this way, absolute values are defined. And but here in incremental coordinate system, you can say first system is defined with respect to the origin. This is the origin. This one will be 1 3, and after that how you are moving from this current position to the next position, from 1 to 2 how you are moving. So from this to this you are moving. This coordinate is 1 3, and its coordinate 2 are -1 and 2. But how you are moving from here to here? You are moving in x axis. One is the coordinate in minus and one is plus. So total you are moving in x direction -2. In this direction you are moving, and this is the negative x direction. And how you are moving in the downward direction? In the minus direction of y. 3 to -1. Okay, so in the minus direction you are moving in y axis. So -2 -1 will be the incremental coordinate of this point. Similarly, from here to here, how you will move in x and y direction? So accordingly, you will find the values of this. You can say coordinate of point 3. Okay, so incremental means from current position to the next position, how much you are moving in x-axis and y-axis direction. So accordingly, you will find these values. So that is the difference between absolute and incremental coordinate system. And accordingly, these are known as absolute programming system and incremental programming system. So if you are using absolute coordinate, then it is known as absolute programming, and if you are using incremental coordinate, then these are known as incremental coordinate incremental programming system. Then you should know what is machine zero and program zero. Okay, so machine zero, this is a position located at the farthest possible distance in the positive direction along the machine axis, all the axes. So what is the farthest position? Okay, farthest possible distance in the positive direction along the machine axis, in x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. So this is permanent, is set for each particular CNC machine tool by the machine tool builder. So that is the machine zero. Okay, and program zero, this is also known as work zero, the position that acts as the origin for the part program of a particular workpiece. So any table may be there. Suppose any table is there on the CNC machine tool, then workpiece may be located on this table anywhere. So the machine should know what is the position of the program zero, from where the program has to be started. Okay, so for that, one particular corner of the job is set. So that is also known as work zero. This is also known as program zero. So for making the component position known to the machine tool, so this program zero is defined. So this is changeable for every component. How you are fitting it, how you are putting it on the machine tool on table. So that position will be, you can say, different for each component, and that should be well defined, and it should be told to the machine in the form of work offset. So work offsets are generally defined in G54, G55, G56, etc. These are different preparatory functions in which this work coordinates are defined, or program zero is defined. So work coordinate and program zero, work zero and program zero is the same thing. So for each, from where the program will start for each component, this is the basic definition of this program zero. Then coordinates. So basically, three linear coordinates, three linear axes are there in the CNC machining center, and three rotary axes are there. So as I told you, that x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, three axes are there. And if the rotation is around x-axis, then additional axis is known as a-axis. If the rotation is around b-axis, then this is known as b. If the rotation is around z-axis, then this is known as c-axis. Okay, and right hand, you can see these are the partition coordinate systems, and it is defined by right hand rule. Okay, so right hand rule, in right hand, the position of the thumb, you can see, gives the x-axis, and position of the this front finger, this gives the y-axis, and then middle finger gives the direction of the z-axis. So right hand rule is followed. So you can see here on the actual machine, x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Okay. So generally z-axis is perpendicular to the machine table. So if it is a vertical VMC, vertical machining center, the vertical spindle will be there, and table will be XY plane, in the XY plane. If it is horizontal, then table will be, you can say, the spindle will be perpendicular again to the, you can say, work table, or to the some component which is positioned over the workpiece on the machine table. So now main, you can say, codes. So two types of codes are used in CNC programming. One is, you can say, proprietary codes, which is also known as G codes, and another is miscellaneous codes, or you can say M codes. So one by one we will discuss this, you can say, all these codes. So G codes are G00, this is for rapid traverse. So whenever you want to move the table, machine table in rapid mode, okay, then you will use G00. So let me see. So here you can see. Okay, suppose this is your current position or start point of the machine, and you want to move to this end point. That is, you can say 50 in x direction and 30 in y direction. So you can give G00 x50 y minus 30. So y plus is in this in the upper direction, and in the lower position it is minus 30. So you can give G00 x50 y 30. So in this position now, the machine will move rapidly to this end point. Here it will reach here. Okay. But if you want to move in linear mode, in some cutting you want to do, then it will be defined by, you will say, G01. That is linear interpolation. So linear interpolation is defined by G01. Okay. So whenever you want to, G01 can be any, you can say, horizontal line, vertical line, or any inclined line. So any, you will say, line, a straight line can be, if you want to move the machine in that, you can say, position. Suppose you want, this is a start point, and you want to move to this end point here. Okay. 200 and 300. So you will give command G90, that is absolute programming. So G01. G01 is for linear interpolation and endpoint of the line. So what is endpoint? X200, Y300, and some feed. What type of feed you want to give? So this feed is it millimeter per minute. So if it is 0.02 and RPMs are there 60, then 60 multiplied 600 RPMs are there, 60 multiplied with 0.02, you can say 120 feed will be there. Okay, so with some feed you will have to define with, you can say, linear interpolation. Here no feed, here the feed will be, rapid feed will be used, inbuilt by the machine tool builder, which is, you can say, defined already in the machine, where some standard speeds are there with which G0 rapid traversal will be done. Then G02 and G03, these are circular interpolation. Okay, circular interpolation clockwise and circular interpolation counterclockwise. So if you want to move the do the machining in clockwise, some arc is there, you want to do the machining in clockwise arc, then G02 will be used. If you want to move this tool in, you can say, counterclockwise, then G03 will be used. So we'll see the example. So before that, you can say here G17 and G18 are also defined. So that is for understanding the planes. So G17 is for XY plane selection, and G18 is for ZX plane selection, and YZ is defined by G19. So they are used in, you can say, in some cases. So here you can see, like you can say, this is G02 and G03, you can see in G17 plane, G18 plane, and G19 plane. So clockwise motion is done with the help of G02, and G03 is for counterclockwise. Okay. And then you have to give the end point of the arc. So so first of all, you have to define the plane, whether it is XY plane, then G17, then G02 for clockwise, and G03 for anti-clockwise or counterclockwise. Then give the end point of the arc. These are the end point of the arc. And you can use radius, or you can use I or J component. If it is XY plane, then I and J will be used. And if it is, you can say, ZX plane, then I and K will be used. If it is YZ, then J and K will be used. Okay, and here X and Z will be used as the end point. Here Y and Z will be used as the end point in YZ plane. And then feed will be used. Okay. So how this I and J, now this I and J, these are the incremental distance from the start point of the arc. Suppose this is the arc. Okay, so its direction is in counterclockwise. So you will use G XY plane is there, G17, G03, then end point of the arc. So you have to give the coordinate of this point, then I and J. So I is the distance from start point to the center of the arc in x-axis direction. Okay, and J is the distance, increment distance in y direction from start point to the center of the arc. Okay, similarly for zx and yz. Okay, if I and k are there, so these are the distances from the start point to the center of the arc. Always you have to remember. Okay, so in this way ij can be utilized. So here you can see some example is given. Okay, so generally people get, you can say, confusion with ij. You can see here this example. This, let us say this arc is there. Okay, so its start point is 240. This 200 is x and y is 40. Okay, from here we are starting. So G90 absolute programming, G03 because it is anti-clockwise. End point of the arc. What is end point of the arc? 140 and 100 is x 140, y 100. Then I and j. So what is the I? I is the distance in x direction from start point to the center of the arc. How much? 60. So this is in negative x direction. That's why I minus 60, and then feed is given. So k, I and j, there is no incremental distance in y direction. That's why j is 0. Okay. Similarly, for this arc, you can see. So what is the end point of this arc?
Vimresh, Vimresh,
यस सर सर लगता है सर मीटिंग से एग्जिट हो गए हैं.
तो फिर दोबारा से ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं? कैसे करेंगे?
हाँ हाँ मैं सर को कॉल कर रहा हूँ अभी.
हाँ, एक बार कॉल कर दो.
हाँ, सॉरी फॉर द इनकन्वीनियंस, प्लीज वेट फॉर 2 minutes. So sir is connecting again. Please allow us for 2 minutes.
Now it is okay.
Yes sir, everything is okay. Please start sir.
So we were here, so we were discussing this arc. So now if you take example of this arc, then it is in clockwise direction in this way. Okay, so that we will have to use G02. So here endpoint will be this 120 and 60, and you will have to move from start point to the center 50 millimeter. That's why I minus 50 is written. G02 X 120 endpoint of the arc, X 120, Y 60, and I this one. Okay, and then feed same feed will be obeyed. Okay, it will. So this is example. So generally people make mistake. They are not conversant uh, with this, you can say use of this I and jk etc. So for that simply you can use the radius command also with the help of radius. So you can see here this case. So here G02 you can see example of this, you can say of this arc. So when arc is less than 180, so this is 180, so x70 endpoint of the arc and radius can be used. And when it is more than 180, then radius minus r minus 140 can be used. So same endpoint will be there. So both arc are there, but this arc is less than 180 and this is more than 180. So it is when it is more than 180, r minus can be used. So it is very simple to use arc, define the arc with the help of this radius system. Okay, radius command. So in I, J and K some mistakes can be there, but with the help of this, no mistakes are there. So all the participants are there, please. Hello. Hello, Vimlesh.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay. Then this dwell is there, dwell time. So this dwell time is defined with the help of G02. So G04. So G04 is used for defining dwell time. What is dwell? So anytime you want to stop the machine at any position, like for your spindle, you don't want to stop the spindle, but you want to rotate it in the same position. Okay, let us say some grooving tool is being used and you want to do the grooving at the same position for some sufficient time so that good finish is obtained. Then you can stop the spindle rotating. It will be rotating, but you can stop it at the same position by dwelling it. Okay, so you can give some time with the G04 like X and X5. So F5 means you can say for 5 seconds it will be stopped, but it can be done with the help of P also, G04 P. So, but you will have to multiply this, you can say whatever time is there by 1000. So, P 5000 you will have to define. So, this is used for dwelling purposes. Then G17, 18, 19, these are used for plane selection. Then G20 and sorry, G20 is used for inch input. Whenever all the dimensions are in inches, then G20 can be utilized. Whenever metric system you want to utilize, then G28, 21 is used. And G28 is used for mm, bringing the machine tool to the reference point, return to the reference point. So G28, X0, Y0, Z0 can be given. So that is done generally. You can say whenever machine is started in the morning. Let us say factory is running in two shifts. Okay, in morning and in evening shift. After night shift is, you can say, no work is there. But whenever some work machines will be off, they will be switched off in the night. So whenever some worker is coming in the morning and it is starting the machine, so it is very much necessary to reference the machine, to bring the to read the machine zero. Okay, because the machine should know that where it is, the machine zero is there, then actually it will start working from that zero. So that is the purpose of, you can say, it can be done manually with the help of manual job. Okay, or it can be done automatically also with the help of G28, X0, Y0, Z0. So it will reference the machine to its reference points. Then G40, 41 and 42, these are used for radius compensation. So G41 is used for cutter radius compensation left hand side, and G42 is used for cutter radius compensation right hand side, and G40 is used for cancellation of this both types of compensation. So we will see in the slides that how it is done. This is the example of G04. Cutter radius compensation. So here you can see. So let us say any work profile is there. So with radius compensation, the cutter is automatically, you can say, offset by equal to the amount um, equal to its radius. Uh, Suppose you want to cut this profile. Okay. So whenever you are using any cutting tool, so cutting tool center will be positioned over the line. So if you want to cut the end profile of this job, then you will have to shift this, you can say, cutter tangential to this, you can say, this side surface. So one way is that you manually shift this cutter equal to the radius, but in that many errors may be there. So another is use automatic shifting with the help of cutter radius compensation. So if you activate this cutter radius compensation, automatically the cutter will become tangential to the side surface, equal to the amount, equal to its radius. Okay, and it will move along this periphery, whatever coordinates. Coordinates will be defined of this point, this point, this point, this point. But cutter will be shifted and it will cut the end surface of the job. Okay, so there are two types of, you can say, cutter radius composition: 41, G41 and G42. G41 is, you can say, whenever cutter is on the left, it is cutter radius composition left side. What means the cutter is on the left side of the job. So now you see this figure. So in this you just see cutter is on the left side or right side of the job. So this is the path of the cutter and this is the job. So the cutter is on the left side of the job. So whenever it is here, whenever it is here, so you will have to see it from the top. Always it will be on the left side of the job. But if you change the path, if you, instead of following this path, now you follow this path in this way. So here it is on the right side of the job. This is your job and this is your cutter. So now if you are choosing this path, then G42 will be utilized. Okay, so it is up to the programmer that which path he is choosing. So accordingly, if he is choosing this path, then G41 will be he will activate. He will have to activate, and if it is choosing this path, then he will have to activate G42. And after its use, it will be cancelled with the help of G40. So whenever compensations are used, they are cancelled also. So with the help of G40, it is cancelled. Okay. So these are for radius compensation. And after that, two length compensation. So two length offset or two length compensation is activated with the help of G43 and G44. G40, G43 and G4. Now here you can see this component. Okay, so in this component some tools are to be used. So these tools maybe whenever we are doing machining, let us say we had discussed the capacity of the tool magazine in which 60 components we can mount. Okay, so when these 60 tools are used, whenever you are machining a big, you can say gearbox, let us say gearbox of a tractor. So in that sometime 50 tools, 60 tools, 90 tools are needed. Now all the tools may not be of the same length, their length may be different, but we want that every tool should come, and if this is the top surface of the job, then every tool should come and it should stop at even say 2-3 millimeter above the job surface, and then it should start cutting. Okay, then it should start drilling or whatever cutting operation is there. So now how this is made possible? Tools are of different length. Okay, job is same, machine is same. How it is done? So this is done with the help of activation of tool length compensation. So tool length compensation is activated with the help of G43. So G43, then tool number, and it is done with the help of capital H. As I told you, this is capital D is used for radius compensation, and H is used for length compensation. Okay, so there is in the MDI machine data input, there is one page in the computer in the CNC. So in that page, these details will be there, like tool number will be there, code number will be there, okay, and offset value will be there. So in tool setting, I had told you initially that tools are set and their lengths are noted down. So if the tool length of tool number 1 is 235, okay, so you will put this value in tool number 1 T01, offset value or length is 235. Another tool is T02, its length is minus 165. Okay, its length is 65, but it is minus is given. And another is tool is there, its length is 125, but minus is given. Okay, minus means you can say if suppose you have set this top level. Now there are two you can say surfaces, this surface and this surface. And this if you made this surface at Z00, so whatever values of Z are, the tool is coming from the top. So whatever Z values are there from the top surface, they are positive. Above this positive, and below this all these are negative. Okay, so let us say this tool is used on this top surface, and then this length will be 235 plus. But these tools are to be used here. So here they are down surfaces from the Z00. So in that case, their minus will be written. When minus is written, then G44 you have to activate with the help of G42. And same thing is there, T02, and its value is defined with the help of H01. So if you are giving H01, automatically it will read 235. If you are giving H02, automatically it will read minus 165. H03 minus 125. So if it is positive, then G43 you have to use. If it is negative, then G44 you have to use. And after its use, you have to cancel it with the help of G49. So G49 is cancellation of tool length offset cancellation. Tool length compensation cancel. Tool length compensation or offset is the same thing. Okay. Then G54, G59, these are work coordinate systems. Work coordinate system is now you have to define the position of the workpiece over the table. Now table of the machine tool is very large, and you have to put this fixture on the table, and then on the table you have to mount this workpiece. Now how the machine will know that what is the position of the workpiece over the table? So for defining the position of the workpiece over the table, this work coordinate system is used. So there are six type of work coordinate system: G54, G50, G54, 55, 56, 59, up to 59 you can use. Okay. So just let me see one example for you. So let us say this is the top surface of the job. You have put this job over the table, and this is the thickness of the job. So how you will define the any one corner of the job you can define at the work coordinate work offset or work coordinate system. Okay. So you can say any stylus you can touch on one side of the job. Okay, so if this is the X and Y position of the you can say machine table, then if you touch here, then it will give you the Y value with the help of stylus. Okay, and you will put whatever reading is coming over the screen of the computer, you can read it, and you can put in G54, this XYZ positions will be there, blank, blank, blank. You have to fill them with some values. So whatever value is coming for this workpiece on the table, so same value you have to write in this. So if it is coming 203.1, just fill this Y value. Then touch the stylus here in the X direction. Then whatever value is coming, let us say this is coming, this will be the, and then you can touch the stylus on the top surface of the job, and you can give the define the height of the component. So machine tool also knows that what is the height of the job, because sometimes it may be 50 millimeters, sometimes it may be 60, sometimes 100, 200 also. So X, Y, Z. X, Y give the corner of the job, and Z value gives the height of the job. Okay, so in this G54, similarly G55 may be there, 56. In all cases, three values, three blank values will be there, X, Y, Z, and you have to fill them by positioning the, you can say, knowing the position of the workpiece over the table. And in this way, you can define that X, Y, Z. And now, if you define G54, then machine will know that what is the location of the job over the workpiece. Okay. Next is G54. Then G73, G74, G76. These are, you can say, machining cycles. Okay. And they are known as Kant cycle also. What is Kant cycle? Kant cycle is a cycle in which multiple tool operations are done with the help of single command. Like for example, G81, this is drilling cycle. So with the help of this cycle, drilling can be done. This is you can say peg drilling cycle. So with the help of this, peg drilling can be done. So any cycle with the help of multiple tool movements can be defined with a single command, that you can say that is known as Kant cycle. So these are wherever cycle is written, these are the Kant cycle. This is fine boring cycle. This is peg drilling cycle, drilling cycle, cycle with dwell, you can say with dwell time, and this is again peg drilling cycle. So these are the different cycles which are used for machining purposes. So first, I will give you the example of drilling cycle. So whenever simple drilling is to be done, then G81 can be utilized. Okay, but you can say whenever let us say job height is, you can say very large and diameter is small, let us say 5 millimeter hole or 10 millimeter hole in a 100 millimeter height component. So in such cases, you can say you will have to, simple drilling will not work, but it will have to be done with the help of peg drilling. So in peg drilling, the tool will cut with small depth first, then it will come back, then small depth, then it will come back. Okay, so let me see the examples for you. So this is simple drilling cycle. You can see here G81. So this is the rapid plane. This is known as R plane. Up to this, the tool will come rapidly. Then it will cut the, you can say, job in cutting mode, and then it will revert back. So there three movements are there. This, and this. So multiple tool movements are there. That's why it is Kant cycle. So you will have to define the G81 where hole location, wherever drilling is to be done, coordinate of the hole. Then R plane, this is R plane, rapid plane. So 2-3 millimeter above the job, you can define it. And then Z, what is the depth of hole, and then feed rate. Okay, so with the help of this, simple drilling can be done. Then G82, with, you can say this is with dwell. If you want to stop the tool at the bottom of the hole for a particular time, then it can be done with the help of dwelling. So you will have to give some time for that. So same X, Y, R, Z, F values are there. X, Y is the coordinate of the hole, R is rapid plane, Z is the depth of the hole, P is the dwell time. How much time you want to rotate the tool in the same position. Okay, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, etc. You will have to give the dwell duration and then keep. So with the help of G82, it can be done. Then this is another example of G82. The tool will come here rapidly. It will come. It will do the cutting, and here dwell will be there, and it will return back to the R point. Okay. So this is another. Then G73 and G83. These are peg drilling cycles. So peg drilling cycle, you can see here that the whole depth of the hole is not done in, you can say, one go, as was done in simple drilling cycle, but in steps it is done. First of all, this step, then the tool goes back, and then it increases the depth up to this, then it goes back, then further increases the depth and goes. So in this way, chips are also cleared when it is returning back. So this is the case when hole diameter is smaller but height is large. Okay. So in such cases, you can say if you do the simple drilling, the chips will clog with the tool, etc., and there are chances of breaking of the tool. So in such cases, it is done in steps. So this is done with the help of rapid peg drilling. What is the difference between G73 and 83? In G73, it is rapid peg drill. Rapid peg drill means the tool will return, you can say, to the you can say up to the depth, you can say R plane. Okay. Up to the R plane, here it is coming back. You can see here rapid, and here in this you can say it will come, and then up to the you can say it will go up to the depth, then it will return up to the depth, and then it will go further depth, then it will come back here, and then and after that it will come to the initial position. So Q is the peg, amount of peg, that how much you can say depth in each step you want to proceed. Okay. So this is the peg distance. So this G73 or G83 can be defined. These are another examples of this. Then tapping. So internal threading is done with the help of tapping. So tapping can be left hand tapping or right hand tapping. So left hand tap is G74. So again you can say it is simple with the help of, you can say, same, you can say XY position of the hole you have to define, R rapid plane, depth of the tapped hole, and feed rate you have to define. Okay, and then G74 or G84 as per the right hand tap or left hand tap you have to use. So this for tapping, this you can say G74 or 84 can be utilized. Then these are the boring cycles. Okay. So here the boring cycle is simple as you can say drilling cycle. You can even do with the help of drilling cycle also. Okay. Only thing is that in boring cycle the tool stops at the bottom. So when it is doing cutting, so it is rotating. So it is cutting, when it comes to the bottom, it will stop, and then it will be reverted back. Okay. So G86 with rapid retract will be used. One more thing is there. G76. So those were the simple boring cycle, in which, as I told you, the tool stops at the bottom and then it is retracted back. But whenever suppose you have to do some fine boring means, let us say, bore of a car engine. Okay. So you are doing you are giving the final touch to the bore size. Let us say bore size is 100 millimeter plus minus 5 micron only. So 5 micron tolerance is to be maintained, but finish should be glass finish. It should be good. So if the tool you are doing with the help of rough boring cycle like G85, G86, then tool is stopping at the bottom and then it is retracted back. So when it is retracted back, then it is touching the side of the bore. So it will put scratch mark over the inside of the hole. So which is not needed. It will damage the quality of the fine bore. So for that, this G76 is used, that is fine boring cycle. So in that, what is done when the tool is stopped in the bottom? So it is shifted to one side. It is shifted to away from the wall of the hole, and then it is retracted back. Okay, so that is the depth. So in G76, everything is defined. That it will stop in the bottom of the hole. Then it will orient in a particular direction, and then it will stop, and then it will be retracted back. So in this way, you can see here also. So it will stop, and then it will orient in a particular direction, and then it will shift to a particular side, and then retract it back. So in this way, it will not touch the sides of the hole, and it it will not damage the sides of the hole. So that is the difference between the simple boring and fine boring. So in this way, these cycles are used. And after the use of each cycle, whether you are using G81, G82, G83, G84, any cycle you are using, at the end of use of this, you have to cancel it, G80. So for cancellation of canned cycle, G80 is used. For all this, whether you are using G76, then you have to use G80. Whether G81 you are using, you have to use G80. So all the canned cycles are cancelled. Their work is stopped with the help of G80. Then G90 and 91. So absolute programming is done with the help of, we have seen the example of absolute programming, G90, and incremental programming is done with the help of G91. And G98 and G99. The G99 and G98 is return to the initial point in canned cycle, and this is a return to the R point in canned cycle. So you see this example also. Here. So let us say you are having any workpiece. Okay, you are here. You have to do this. This is the workpiece. Let us say this is a workpiece, or this is a rectangular workpiece. There. This is the fixture, and these are the pads of the fixture, and these are the tool clamps. Okay. So one hole is there here. One hole is there, and in between this clamp is there. So whenever you can say this type of position is there, clamp positions are there, that they are coming in between two holes, or any two holes. But you want to do the, you can say, drilling of this hole also, this hole also. So whenever this condition is there, then you will have to use the G98. What is the meaning of G98? That after completing the hole, after cutting the hole, there are two levels. One is, you can say, R level. This is near to the job, just 2-3 millimeter above the job. That is R rapid plane position. And another is the initial plane position. So before R plane, what was the stopping point of the tool? So that is initial position. Okay, so this is just, you can say, above the R plane. It may be 50 millimeter above, 100 millimeter above, depending upon the part programmer. So this is known as initial level. This is known as R level. So now when some clamps are there between two machining position here and here, so in such cases it is better to use G98, because after doing hole making operation, the tool will come, okay, and it will stop here above the height of the clamp, and then it will move to the next position and it will come back down. But if if this clamp is not there, let us say this is the case. In this case, there is no obstruction between two machining points. Okay, so in such cases, you can stop the tool at R level and you can move it to the next point of machining. Okay, so here G99 is used. So G99 is used for better productivity. With the help of this, cycle time is reduced, because unnecessary there will be movement for initial point above this, and then you will move it. But here, because if you move it in this level, then this obstruction is there. Tool will strike with this and accident will be there. So if there is no instruction, then you can use G99. If obstructions are there between point of machining, then it is better to use G98. So G99 and 98 is returned to the initial point, and this is returned to the R plane. Okay. So now time with me is, it is 4:07. 4:07 हो गए. So should I continue or Vimlesh? If you are interested, then I can continue. I have no problem.
Because time is over, sir.
टाइम तो हो गया, लेकिन पार्टिसिपेंट से पूछो इफ दे आर इंटरेस्टेड, तो मैं कंटिन्यू करता हूँ. मैं तो अभी मतलब इस हिसाब से आधा पौना घंटा और चाहिए मुझे. पार्टिसिपेंट्स, हेलो. हाँ जी विमलेश, आप बताइए.
Sir, it's totally as per your convenience, but I am observing very less participant in the list. And
25 are there, 24.
yes,
तो अगर इंटरेस्टेड हो तो फिर या तो एक और लेक्चर रख लेना फिर आप. मैं इससे
ठीक है
आगे,
सर, ठीक है.
इससे
अभी
आगे
तो
कंटिन्यू.
फिर हाँ जी, नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में कर लेंगे सर कंटिन्यू.
हाँ, तो मैं अभी तो मेरे जी कोड से हुआ है, मेरे को तो 1 घंटा और चाहिए फिर।
हाँ जी, हाँ
This
जी,
is
फिर
all.
एक लेक्चर का तो बनता ही है सर, फिर ना अच्छा से हो जाएंगी चीजें।
हाँ, मतलब अगर करना चाहते हैं तो करेंगे, फिर अगर अभी करना है तो मुझे
ठीक
बता
है।
दो, मेरे को कोई
हम
प्रॉब्लम नहीं,
सर
मैं कर सकता
पार्टिसिपेंट के व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप से ले लेंगे उनके सजेशंस, और यदि इनका सजेशन आया तो एक और लेक्चर शेड्यूल कर लेंगे।
हूँ। नहीं तो अभी पूछ लो इनसे कुछ लोगों से पूछ लो, अगर लाइन पर हैं तो।
So, dear participants, what is your opinion? Do you want to continue this session, or we should schedule the another session for this?
Hello. I think
हेलो
it should be one more session, sir, about this.
हेलो,
Okay, okay.
क्या कह रहे हैं?
सर ये कह रहे हैं कि अभी के लिए मतलब एक सेशन के लिए इनफ हो गया है मटेरियल, और बहुत डिटेल्स में चीज़ें हो गई हैं, तो इसके लिए एक और सेशन हो जाए तो बेटर है। इस सेशन में कंटिन्यू मतलब करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है इनके लिए।
चलो ठीक है, फिर आप देख लेना, मुझे फिर बता देना, ठीक है।
ओके सर। एक्चुअली सर इतना डिटेल्स में ये चीज़ें हो गई, बहुत ब्रॉड में हो गई, तो ये सब कुछ क्लियर हो गया अभी तक का कॉन्सेप्ट,
हाँ, मेरी
इसलिए।
आदत है, मैं डिटेल में पढ़ाता हूँ। चक्कर ये
हाँ
है।
जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ हाँ।
तो अगर, क्योंकि 1 घंटा मुझे और
Okay,
लगेगा
sir.
अगर ये
Thank you very much.
ठीक है, ओके, थैंक यू वेरी
Thank you very
थैंक
much, sir, for this wonderful lecture delivered in this STC program, sir.
मच, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, sir. This lecture will surely benefit the all participant, including me also, because these are the very detailed concept and which is very clear. So I hope it is very beneficial for us. Thank you, sir. Thank you
ठीक है
for
ना,
joining
अगर
with us.
और अगर करना हो तो मुझे बता देना फिर आप, ठीक है।
श्योर सर, श्योर श्योर।
क्योंकि
जैसा
पूरा लेक्चर
जैसा
सुनने
मुझे
के बाद।
फीडबैक आता है, जैसा मुझे इन्फॉर्मेशन आती है, आई विल शेयर विथ यू सर।
ओके ओके,
Okay,
थैंक
thank
यू
you
वेरी
very much, sir. Thank you. So,
Thank you,
sir, with
sir.
your okay, sir. Thank you, thank you. Sir, with your kind permission, I am concluding this session, sir.